Welcome friends, I'm Julia and I'm here to share an underrated tip that helped me achieve my perfect GMAT score. People will often tell you to do mocks under exam-like conditions. That can include everything from sitting for the mock straight through and not taking extra breaks, to not looking up words that you don't remember the definition for or formulas that you can't recall, to even taking the mocks at the time of day or on the day of the week that you're planning to take your real exam. The often overlooked thing that you might not think is necessary is to practice with the tools that you will have available on exam day. If you're taking the exam in a test center, you'll get a legal-sized laminated grid paper scratch pad and a wet erase marker. I'm a big fan of taking notes and working out equations on paper. I also don't have the neatest handwriting. I did most of my studying with pencil and lined paper, which is a different writing experience. With the scratch pad, it's a bit bigger and more awkward to maneuver. It's grid paper, so writing has to fit the layout more accurately to be readable. Also, you can't erase while you're working, so you have to get used to marking out mistakes neatly. I wouldn't be too worried about running out of space because it's 5 front and back legal sized pages, and that's quite a lot. If you do have really large handwriting or you just take a ton of notes, that's a good thing to find out by practicing with the notebook. If you fill up the book during the exam, you are allowed to ask for another one, but you want to do so with plenty of space left in the one that you're using while the proctor goes and gets it, because there is not enough time to just sit there and wait for them to bring you necessary supplies. On a similar note, with the markers, you get 2 at the test center. Make sure that they both write well and legibly when you get them, and ask for replacements up front if they don't, because you do not want to be realizing that they're dried out after the exam starts and you are up against the clock. I bought a laminated book and pen set for like $16 US before I started taking my mock exams, and the pen just lasted long enough that I got through my 6th mock. So I felt like that was a good timeline to practice with it, and it adds a little authenticity to the mock experience. Here are some things I noticed. 1, it obviously feels a little different to write with. Not a huge deal, but I prefer to minimize distractions and surprises on test day, so it was nice to get over that early. 2, I learned to organize my equations a little differently. Whenever I did practice tests before, I could use as much paper as I needed to. If I had to put a pin in a question and come back to it, I had plenty of time to comb through them and find the right problem. On this, if I did some work on a quant problem but I felt stuck, I learned to leave some space to finish it up if it turned out I was on the right track. I also learned to clearly label the question in my notebook and bookmark it on the exam so that I could quickly find it if I needed to get back to it at the end with limited time. On critical reasoning, I learned to work with the grid. I labeled the beginning of the row with A through E, and then the little squares were just large enough for me to insert my S for strengthen, W for weaken, or I for irrelevant for each question. It didn't save a ton of time, but a few seconds per question does add up. There weren't many problems that required number lines or graphing, but the couple that did were made easier with the grid paper. The ink on my pens, especially in the test center, did not dry super fast, so I had to be extra careful to not smear it and render my painstaking notes illegible and messy. And the pen that I got with my kit was kind of fussy, and it would dry out if I left the cap off for too long, so I got really good at capping it between questions while I was reading them, and definitely between sections. The pens I got at the test center, they were a lot more inky, which was kind of a relief. I didn't even need the second one while I was there, but I do recommend checking them up front because I have plenty of experience with a drier pen and it's cumbersome. If you choose to take the GMAT online, you can't use the grid notebook, but you can use an erasable whiteboard that's no larger than 12 by 20 inches and up to 2 dry erase markers. The board can be double-sided, but you'll need to show that both sides are clean to the proctor at the beginning and end of each section. Also, they must be completely blank, as in no grid lines, inspirational quotes, doodles of your dog, or anything else. These whiteboards you can and will erase during your exam. It would be good to get a couple of different marker sizes so you can see which ones suit you and your writing best. Finally, on either the test center or the at-home version of the GMAT, you're allowed to use the virtual whiteboard included in the exam interface. I don't like to type equations. I don't know how people do that efficiently. And I think the virtual whiteboard is a little awkward for crossing off answer choices. However, it can be preferable to type more sentencey notes on verbal questions for some testers, and the virtual option is great for that. Experiment with the virtual whiteboard during your mocks and see if you think it has a place in your note-taking. You also might consider monitor size if you're going to use it a lot during the online exam. You're only allowed to use one monitor, but a bigger monitor might make it easier to get the most out of the virtual whiteboard. Practicing with the tools you'll use on test day, it might seem like a small detail, but it can have a big impact on your performance. Whether it's the laminated grid notebook at a test center, an erasable whiteboard for the online version, or the virtual whiteboard, getting familiar with these tools helps reduce surprises and distractions during the actual exam. By simulating the real testing environment as closely as possible, you can focus entirely on solving problems and managing your time effectively. Investing a little effort into this part of your prep could be the difference between a good score and your dream score. So grab that notebook or whiteboard and start studying. Good luck!